So I'm going to share a little bit about narcissists and addicts and active addiction and how that can affect you. And maybe by hearing part of my story, it might illustrate what you might want to pay attention to look at the signs. So I had met Eric when we were teenagers, when we both were at Peabody, and I was not tainted. Like, I was a virgin. I was like gung-ho about being a dancer, and I wasn't distracted. Later on, when he contacted me 30 some years later to say, hey, my life didn't go the way as planned, and you're the girl of my dreams, and I really want to apologize and make amends for all of the things that I did and hurt you when we were younger, and this and that. So the whole point is, his lead in to the conversation was he did his homework on me, and he looked at my Facebook profile. He looked at who I was, what I was talking about, what I was posting about, and then he started the entire conversation around 12-step and how he was in recovery and that he had 31 years clean and sober, and that since I was in Al-Anon, and I had the understanding of the 12 steps, that we had this in common. So he went and he took one piece, and then he took that piece and used that as a starting point, a foundation, to then add other things on top of, okay? That's what narcissists and addicts and active addiction do. So he found a common theme, okay? And then from there, he asked, hey, can we get together, because I want to make amends. So he has a purpose. He picks a point, and then he has a purpose. And then I was like, oh, wow, this guy really, has his shit together. He's actually doing his step work. Wow, that's pretty amazing. This guy has integrity, or so it seems, okay? So I agree to meet him for a cup of coffee. And during this time when he is having the cup of coffee with me, he is saying all the things that he is making amends to me for all the years before, when he had basically was flirting with other girls while we were dating and just being, an obnoxious person that was an attention whore. So at that point, I was like, I don't want to date you if you're going to act like that. So I just left the party, and I called a cab or whatever, called my parents, and got out of that situation. But the point of the matter is not the past, it's the present, for you to look at what they do to hook you, okay? So he used memories from the past and said, hey, let me make amends to you now in the present. So he's trying to demonstrate with that he's really a good guy, and that he has integrity, and he wants to fess up for the things that he did. So that's how he pulls you in, right? So I'm like, wow, you remember all that from all those years ago? That's pretty amazing. And I said, I forgive you. And then the fact that I said, I forgive you, he's like, I wish I could forgive that easily. And then we start into the whole conversation of faith and our belief systems, and what we were brought up in, and how it's changed over the years, and all that. So then he started the whole conversation around spirituality. Now for me, that's really important. So when he hooked me, he had already prepared for that conversation. He had scripture already ready. He was like right on about how he wanted to manipulate the conversation. But in the moment, I didn't see that I was being manipulated by him or by the conversation, because I was thinking that he was really on the same level as I was, okay? Because that's what narcissists and addicts do. They're manipulating and lying about the entire situation. So as we're walking and talking and having coffee, he then lays down on the table everything that he's ever done wrong. He talks about all of his problems, the addiction, the drugs, the, living the music scene, who are the bad people, and what he does in these drug dens, and how he's lost so much time because he can't get his shit together. And so he basically lays down everything on the table, and he says, I'm so glad that I have 31 years being clean and sober, and that is so behind me. So again, he's showing like, hey, I'm not an addict anymore. I'm clean and sober. I'm like you, right? He's trying to act like he's like me, when in fact he is not like me at all, because he doesn't even have any foundation of being clean and sober, because he wasn't even clean and sober. The whole thing was a lie, okay? But the whole point is that's what narcissists and addicts do. They're constantly pulling you in a web of trying to get you to see their point of view. I'm going to stop here and I'll pick up at another point. Have a great day.